Do you have a dirty little secret? Welcome to the club.
And you're all invited.
The first rule of the Dirty Little Secrets Club is tell everyone about the Dirty Little Secrets Club.
We're handing out memberships, free of charge.
Step up to the VIP line and let Dayna and Brimstone take you on a weekly ride of secrets and debauchery.
Now buckle up, Buttercup, because things are about to get heated on the Dirty Little Secrets Club.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Dirty Little Secrets Club. We're your hosts.
I'm Dayna Pereira.
And it's Brimstone right here.
Hey, Brimstone right there.
We're going to have a great show, and we're going to laugh and giggle and be happy, and it's going to be amazing.
Today we have a special guest on the show. Did you know?
Did we?
We do. It's the gash on my nose.
You know, I was actually about to ask you that before we started. I was going to ask you how your nose was. So, yeah, would you like to tell everybody just what exactly happened?
The silliest thing in the world happened. I was watching Love is Blind. It was the reunion. I was very excited to see it. And there was a surprise moment on the show for me. Where I decided I needed to quickly text my sister. I start calling her really, really fast. I throw my phone up in the air and I caught it with my face.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Now, I mean, I guess you can't really say what the surprise was, or can you?
You can. It's out there already. So they were showing a preview of who was coming up on the next season of Love is Blind.
Okay.
And it's my friend. My friend is on the fucking show. So his face pops up on the screen and I was like, holy shit. And I start calling my sister and I'm like, can you believe? Because it's actually a friend. Here, you'll love this, Brim. You know my trips to New Orleans.
Yes.
It is we met a group of guys there in April of 2023. Okay. And had the best time. They were so fun. We were having such a good time. And it's one of those guys that we met while we were in New Orleans. So all of the girls that I was there with and the group of guys also, we were freaking out. Our friend is on the show.
Very interesting. Very interesting. What do you call it? I mean, okay. So now that leads me to the question, when he was in New Orleans, was he trying to get a date?
No. So he wasn't on the show yet, I don't think, because that was 2023. So that's a year and a half ago. Okay. So he may have been cast on the show. I'm really not sure. I don't know what the details are, and I don't want to come out and say that something happened and get him in hot water. Mm-hmm. I was talking to him though, and I was like, you better not let me find out that you're a closeted douchebag like we find out with all of these other people on the show. And he was like, come on, you know me better than that. I'm like, I know you're not. He's not. He's the nicest guy. I'm really excited for him, and I'm really excited because obviously he can't tell me anything that's going on with the show. Right. So I'm really excited to see what his journey looks like. And maybe he'll come on to the Dirty Little Secrets Club when it's all said and done.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun to have him. What do you call it? In the meantime, speaking about journeys, you want to talk about the whole Beetlejuice journey with Charles Dietz himself. I mean, now I've known this for quite some time.
It was another surprise for me.
It was a big surprise for you, and it was like one of those what is it? Coming to life experiences. Or, oh my God, this is why he wasn't there. So
yes.
Would you like to talk about it?
So, I mean, it was spooky season. Halloween was last week. I love the first Beetlejuice, and I really wanted to watch the second one. So whenever I found that it was streaming and I was able to just, sit at home with my popcorn, I got it and I watched it. And during the thing, I was like, why isn't Charles Dietz a part of the movie?
Right.
I was very confused. I thought he maybe died or something, so I Googled him.
Yeah.
Well, his career did die whenever he was found to be a pedophile and had child pornography. That is why he's not in Beetlejuice.
Huge issue. I mean, now this guy, again, what really sucks is, a lot of people, have watched Beetlejuice. They watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They watch, all these classic films from back in the day. I mean, the 80s, the 90s. And, Jeffrey Jones was in a lot of these movies. So, for a lot of pop culture fans, it's like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like, we
I'm
love that
shocked.
guy. And then they realize that this is what happened. Now, at that point, do you separate the art from the artist?
Okay, so first of all, closeted douchebag, right? Jeffrey
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
just really rolling
Yes.
with a theme here. Um, it the thing is, I understand, like, he's already in these movies from before, right?
Hmm.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Hmm.
You can, though, in the future be like, no, 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 bruh, you canceled. You're a piece of shit. We don't want to work with you. We don't want you having notoriety or power
Right.
or anything else whenever you clearly abused it and, did some really awful, terrible, shitty things. So, although the art is already out there with him in
Hmm.
it, what are you going to do about that? I'm not going to
Right.
cancel the whole movie because they hired somebody that they didn't know was a piece of shit,
Right. As far as we know right
as far as we know right
now.
now.
As far as we know.
Who
But yeah.
knows what
Yeah.
comes to light in the future?
You never know. Nothing shocks me anymore. Nothing.
I know.
So,
I know. I feel a little numb to the world right now. You and I have been talking. It's been a shitty year, and I have just been like,
mm,
nothing surprised. I just feel indifferent around like the whole world right now.
yeah, I feel you, Day. I feel you. What do you call it? And it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. The
It's gonna get better.
stupidity,
It's getting better.
stupid after
I'm
stupid
putting
after
it out
stupid.
there. I'm putting it
It
out there that
is.
it's turning around. It's getting better.
Well, tomorrow, what do you call it, is election day. We record this. We're recording this on Monday right now, and tomorrow is
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday. This will air on tomorrow. This airs
Tomorrow,
tomorrow.
yeah,
Yeah, it airs tomorrow.
on
So
election day. So go
on
vote.
election
If you're
day,
listening, turn this the
yes,
fuck off right now. Go vote. Then come
and then
back
come
and
back.
listen to the rest of it.
Yes, or listen to us in the car. We're nice. We're
Yeah,
nice to listen to in the
on
car.
the way there. Yeah, sure.
It's kind of like the Cosby situation. I always loved Bill Cosby's stand up. I always loved the Cosby Show.
Mm-hmm.
But he turned out to be such a creepazoid.
I know it's a
And
bummer.
you have to, like, I can't, maybe I'll never watch the shows or stand up again in the same light as I had. But
Mm-hmm.
like some of like the best things that I've one of my best one of the best things that I ever have learned, and I've taken it from the Cosby Show, and and I've used it on so many occasions. It's about did you used to watch the show, or not really?
I did watch it whenever I was younger. I remember it very little
Vaguely. Okay.
overall. Yeah.
So basically, it's about first impressions, and he's talking about first impressions. And I've used this on so many occasions, so many talks, so many, times with my kids. And so it is come across. It's one of it's one of the top stories that I ever tell. And it just so happens that he just turned out to be a scumbag. So, but that doesn't mean that the story's a bad story. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Doesn't mean that the art is bad. So it sucks, but I'm not gonna not watch Ferris Bueller. I'm not gonna not watch Beetlejuice. I'm not gonna not watch The Cosby Show. You
Well,
know what I mean?
I think that people confuse the fact that like this person did shitty things. That doesn't mean that they're shitty 100% of the time. And I am not excusing or normalizing that thing.
No.
I just think that like we have to realize that even Hitler probably made somebody laugh at some point, right?
Right.
Because that's how they move through the world. That's how they have to have people like them also.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they can't do the shitty things that they want to do.
Yeah, we know that
So
firsthand from the what's going on in the world right now. But
it's very nuanced. It's very layered. It's
it's
all of those
yeah.
kind of things.
Yeah.
So,
So Adam and Barbara weren't in Beetlejuice 2 all either. But the reason that they weren't in Beetlejuice 2 is because time goes by and ghosts don't age, but people do. So what
Well, they
do you call
said
it? That's
that
why they
because they
weren't
had
in it.
crossed over, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of Beetlejuice, they cross over.
Well, that's what they said to explain them not being there.
Yeah.
That's what they said. But what do you call it? Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, as much as they could do some kind of makeup on them or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they still, the age is there, the aging is there. Alec
Yeah.
Baldwin is, 3 times the size as he was when he
Totally.
was
And
younger.
Beetlejuice
So
still looked like Beetlejuice because in the
how
original,
crazy is
he was
that?
kind of like, you know, he's all covered in makeup and looking all crazy,
Crazy
and
and
he
creepy.
still looks like Beetlejuice.
Exactly. Speaking about craziness, I actually, this is a long term. It's something completely different of what we were just talking about, but also in the celebrity world. I came across an article that had to do with a rock legend,
Mm-hmm.
and Frankie Valli. He's 90 years old at this point. And
Yeah,
one of the big things in music is there are a lot of people that lip sync on stage, or don't
sure.
really play their instruments on stage. And there are a lot of musicians that would die before they didn't actually sing on stage and perform properly on stage because they feel like they are, giving the audience what they deserve. So apparently there are a lot of, rockers that are actually, completely pissed off and they're tearing Frankie Valli apart because he's been involved in a huge lip syncing controversy and people are calling it a bullshit performance and stuff like that. Um,
Wait, he's
he's
90.
90. So, you know, at what point do you say, okay, I can't do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I need to not perform because I can't give people what they want. But what do you call it? Yeah, no, like you're
But
talking
people are
about
still showing up though, right?
they
So
are.
if people are still showing up and he's still willing to get on the stage and nobody really gives a shit if he's lip syncing or not, then
Right.
I mean, I guess do your thing, Frankie. But it does concern me why he thinks at 90 years old that he like still needs to get up on the stage, whether it's
You
he
might need
wants
it.
to still feel validated
Hmm.
or maybe he needs the money or
Hmm.
like who knows what the reason is that he's still getting up there. But if people are still showing up to the shows, who
Yeah.
gives a fuck what anybody else thinks?
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, his wife is 62, which is big age gap right there. That's
Is
interesting.
that
What do you
is
call it? But
yeah.
they're like, you've got, people like Graham Nash from Crosby, Stills and Nash, who's 82 and still performs. And
Doesn't like
he
Mick
was not
Jagger still
happy.
perform? He's pretty old,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Mick
Yeah.
Jagger, they still sing. A guy like Steven Tyler from Aerosmith,
Uh-huh.
he still sings, but now he's starting I think they're ending. I think this past tour or this current tour, if it's still going, is the last one because of his voice. He feels he can't do
Well, see,
what,
that's another reason
you
that he
know.
might be lip syncing because as you age, your voice does change. So he
Yeah,
probably can't even still sing the songs in the way that people would recognize it being him
yeah,
if he's 90 years old and his voice. I mean, everything gets a little more frail as
right.
you age. It's probably really difficult for him to do that.
Fair enough. I mean, but again, if you're lip syncing badly, at least lip sync
The article
well.
did say that he was just kind of standing on stage looking like he was like zoned out, not really
Right.
moving his mouth too much. And that's another age thing. That's why I'm like, oh man, I wonder why he feels like he has to be up on that stage. If he's being forced to be up on that stage, like,
Hmm.
do we need to be checking about elder abuse here or?
Right. Well, when I was here first with Stan Lee, the last time I was one of the last times I was with Stan, and now he in his 80s and into his 90s, he was spry. Like
Mm-hmm.
he'd run around quicker than half of us.
Yeah.
And what do you call it? The last time that I saw, he was just completely blank. You know what I mean? And just a shell of who he had been.
Yeah.
Same thing with Nichelle Nichols, and again, they're up in the 90s,
Yeah.
and you know, at some point, I guess you got to stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you keep going and you still stay well oiled like Stan did for the longest time. I got that's gonna bring me somewhere else, but let's not go there. Um, Ann Wilson from Heart also commented on it. She's like, it's like he's not even there, and so I
That's a
honestly,
bummer. That's
it
a
is a
bummer.
bummer. Speaking about Stan, and so forth, I to Marvel, which is Disney.
Mm-hmm.
We're just skipping over the Marvel part and just going straight to the Disney. And see, with my transition there was not good, but I'm
Flawless.
making it
It
work.
was flawless.
I'm making it work because I can. That's all that matters. So apparently there has been a really good script for Roger Rabbit 2.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as Robert Zemeckis says, now he's one of the filmmakers of Roger Rabbit, the first one. He said that it's never going to see the light of day, and it's because of, and I'll give you one guess.
Because Vava Voom, Jessica Rabbit.
Exactly. Jessica Rabbit, because she is too voluptuous and so forth. And, like even in the ride in Disneyland, they have her all covered up and she's in a
Because
trench
she's
coat.
too
So
risque.
she's too risque. She's too curvy. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, see, I can agree with his comment and his statement, but I can also disagree with that. This is also the same company that just put out Deadpool and Wolverine. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? With violence and sex and you know what I mean, and cocaine jokes. You know what I mean? Like this
So
is
there's the sides of the arguments here. I feel like I'm being pulled in two different directions whenever it comes to Jessica Rabbit.
Mhm.
One being that it's an unfair standard for women across the world to think that this is like the sexiest thing on the planet when it's not
Mhm.
even the norm, right?
Right. Right.
However, on the flip side of that, I also feel like fucking celebrate women's bodies because they're fucking beautiful. And
Right.
so I can feel how I could be pulled in two different directions on what I actually think about the whole Jessica Rabbit thing,
Yeah.
because I think that people should appreciate their bodies. If they're, va va voom, great. Maybe what they could do is make Jessica Rabbit a little more of a normal woman body that we see typically in the world rather than her 20-inch waist and
But that's not the
36
character.
inch bust.
But that's not the character. You know what I
It
mean?
is, but the character's age, right? Like as whenever
Uh,
when I was 18, I wasn't even 100 pounds. And as you get like a woman's body changes nonstop throughout her life,
Agreed.
nonstop. So I think that it's okay for them to demonstrate with Jessica Rabbit that her body changes through life because that is what happens. That is the norm.
I do agree with that. However, it is an animated character. So
Yeah.
kind of like Mickey Mouse and Goofy and so forth, like all these characters they don't age. They just always stay the same and that's
Mm-mm.
it. So with an animated character, I absolutely appreciate where you're coming from and I think that that's a fun idea. Would they do that? I don't know.
Well, it sounds like they're not willing to do anything with it. They're like, we have a great script that we're never going to make because, Jessica Rabbit.
Which is so
Fucking
stupid.
Eve with the apple. All her fault.
It's so. I mean, look again. Like the film had like drug use, even though you didn't really realize it. As a kid, you didn't know that.
Oh, there were so many problematic things with it.
So many things.
It's
So many things. Bullying, hate. Hate mongering.
The
Voyeurism, kidnapping.
Sandlot had shit, like with
Yeah.
kids' movies all the time. Like a dude faking drowning so that he could make out with a girl. Not great in today's society.
Right. Right. It's craziness. So, I mean, like, how have things changed so much over the years where it's like, okay, you look at this and you go, wow, okay, well, that just would not be okay now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how did we get away with that then?
Yeah.
Um, that's crazy. That's craziness.
It is crazy.
So that's the whole situation. Roger Rabbit. I would love for a Roger Rabbit too. I think the real reason that it's not going to happen is because as we spoke about it, I think on a Disney episode of Dirty Little Secrets Club, that what do you call it? Disney and Warner Brothers have this anger with each other because Disney screwed Warner Brothers in the first one, where they were supposed to get equal time for all the characters, and Warner Brothers said that they lent Bugs to Disney. And they were expecting, they said it was a verbal contract where the person who was in charge of Disney at the time said, we will lend you Mickey, in exchange for the Bugs. And then when Space Jam was coming out and they were doing the whole thing with Space Jam, Disney was crickets, they wouldn't do it. So what do you call it? So and that was a big problem, which means they kind of nixed that deal, and that's the real reason why
I
there's
did
a
not
problem with the two
know there was
companies.
such Disney drama.
That's the Disney drama.
Drama.
Yeah. That
Marsha,
being said, Marsha. I love Roger Rabbit. Wish there would be another one. It was groundbreaking at the time. I also don't think that it would have as much of an impact as the original one did, because it's all been there now. Like people are making fan films like that now, where they're putting all the different characters together. You can just smash whatever you want together and make it work these days. So we'll see. Maybe one day.
Maybe. You never know.
Yeah. Speaking of Disney, we do have another issue with a Disney employee. And this one, now I'm wondering if this one has anything to do with the story that we had been following for quite some time with the woman from Long Island, who passed away. I don't know if this has anything to do with that as well, but apparently this guy was fired this year in June for quote unquote alleged misconduct. It says that what do you call it? It was not an amicable split. He was not happy about this termination, but he was accused of hacking the menu system and falsely claiming certain foods did not contain peanuts, which is a huge issue.
Fucked up.
So I'm gonna let you go there. Now let's see what you have to say about that.
It does not appear that the one that we were talking about before is related to this guy. He was just fired in June. Okay. But how fucked do you have to be that because you have an issue with a company that you worked for, that you would put other people's lives at risk? People that have nothing to do with that company.
It's so ridiculous. People are just assholes. Like I can't, and we've discussed it before. People are just assholes, and they don't think they're going to be held accountable. And, and then they get caught, and then they're not sorry that they did it. They're sorry that they got caught. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, well, what you just did, every action has a reaction, and what do you call it? And when you do something stupid like this, which is potentially causing extreme issues for people that have allergies, that are going to Disney to have a good time. And what do you call it? Somebody, looks at it, orders something, and then goes into some kind of shock, or what is it called? Anaphylactic shock? Is that what it is? With the peanuts and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Anaphylactic shock.
More.
At the end of the day, if you could kill somebody. And so, he might have thought, ha ha ha, well, then they're going to get screwed and they're going to have, all these issues.
Right. They're going to have a lawsuit, but he's not even paying attention to the fact that he could have potentially killed somebody.
And he could have. We don't know.
It sounds like he also did things like change menu prices and added profanity to the menus. So it sounds like maybe he went in there being a little just like being a rascal. And then he started changing the allergen informations. Now that's where you walk into the territory of being a big fucking douchebag that could potentially be charged for murder if somebody dies from what you did. Negligent.
I don't want anybody to die. I hope that nobody died from it.
Me too. I don't think they did.
However, I would have loved for him to really had to pay that price.
Yep.
Not that I want anybody to get hurt. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah. Well, no, I mean, he should. That's like attempted murder. You know, like
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's so messed up.
Somebody like that needs to be taken care of in a very, very harmful way. You know, it is what
I mean, I do think that they should have a consequence, but I don't think that they should be taken care of in a harmful way.
Well, look,
you and I are always on opposite sides of the aisle on that one.
here's a situation. Here's a situation, Day. Say one of your kids had a peanut allergy, and you went on one of the days that this douchebag did what he did, and your kid had that peanut, had that thing.
Listen, I totally get that. I understand.
You would want pure death for the guy. You wouldn't be like, well, he didn't mean to do. No, you'd be like, fuck this douchebag. He's gonna die.
Okay.
I'm unaliving that sumbitch right now.
However, he didn't kill anybody. So even though, yes, there was the potential, it was a dumbass move on his part.
Yes.
I don't wish him harm over it. I do think he deserves a consequence. And if he ended up hurting somebody, he deserves a harsher consequence. I'm just not I'm not an eye for an eye kind of a person, because I don't think that ultimately ends up improving anything, personally.
Listen, I give it to you. Alex is the same way when we've talked about things before where I'm like, I would take this dude and beat the ever living piss out of him, and he needs to be ripped to shreds, and he'd be like, no, that's not gonna solve anything.
Yeah.
Listen, you Alex, and your kumbaya
little hippy dippy shit.
How funny is it that you and I are on the same side politically, but I can go completely off the rails?
Yeah. Takes all kinds. It makes the world go round.
Meanwhile, you would think that this kid, whoever he was, and however, I don't know how old he was, but I gotta imagine he's old enough to work, for Disney, so he's got to be over 18.
I think they said he was 26.
Okay, well then obviously his parents didn't teach him very well.
No,
that's a really, really dumb thing. Which leads us to this other thing. Do you wanna bring that up?
Yeah. So there is a mother out there now. Parents, let me know what you think of this. This mother has a 20-year-old daughter who lived on her own since she was 18. So girlfriend turned 18. She was like, I'm bouncing. I'm out of here.
Yes.
I can see why. Her mom.
Oh, damn. Three snaps in a Z formation.
I know.
Right there.
I know. Her mom now thinks that she should have her birth certificate, social security card, and passport. Like, she has a right to have all of these things.
The originals. She wants the originals. Right.
I'm so confused.
So, okay. When I saw this, I was like, you're going to have something to say about it, and I agree with you. And I was pretty sure that you and I were going to be on the same, right in the same, now, when I moved out of my house, I'm not going to lie, my mom was pissed. My mom was really pissed, and she was not happy, and she's like, tried making demands. I'm like, Mom, I love you, but, I'm not living here anymore, and, I'm old enough that I don't have to listen to you anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And there's a lot to do with hey, your kids, you're always going to look at your kid as a kid. You know what I mean? And as much as you might feel that you are in charge of your kids, is that the best way to say it? That you're the boss? Well, once they're 18 and they decide they want to leave the house, you have no rights whatsoever to anything, you can offer your advice, you can offer assistance, you can offer love, help, guidance, but they can give and take whatever they want. You know what I mean?
See,
It's
the
up to
the
them
thing
now.
that I reject is that I do not have ownership over my children. They are their own person. Even
Right.
as a child, I am there to guide them, to protect them. It is
Hmm.
my job as the person that brought them into this world without them having an opinion on whether or not they should be here.
Right.
It is my job to serve my children in the best way that I can for their safe and healthy upbringing.
Right. Absolutely. And once they're ready to leave the home, when it's time to fly the coop, they're out of the nest. They're out of the nest. And if
Yeah.
they need to come home, then they're welcome to come home. You know what I mean? But my daughter left when after she got out of college.
Uh-huh.
It's not that she didn't want to be home with us, but she was able to get a good
No.
job upstate. So she
Yeah.
said, "All right, well, I'm moving upstate because I'm getting this job right out of school." And we go, "Okay, there's nothing I could now. I could be like, hey, you should live here. This is my suggestions. I would rather you live here, save some money, and then go move out there. You know what I mean? Get a position here. Yes, I know it's more expensive to live here. However, you're living at home, save your money, and then take that, and then you'll have a little nest egg and can go out and do whatever you need to do." She didn't keep us, hold us to
See,
that.
some
She
people
went and
have
did it,
like
and that's
a
fine.
sense of adventure where they're like, I get to be out on my own. I finally get to spread my wings and fucking do things,
Right.
which is, and there's several reasons that people leave home. One of them is my parents fucking suck. Get me the hell out of here immediately.
Yeah.
And then other ones are like, I'm going to college. I'm spreading my wings. I'm getting a new job. I'm going to travel. So it's not always bad whenever somebody leaves home, but there are those occasions where somebody is leaving home because they are like, fucking finally, I can leave this house and legally
Right.
go get an apartment on my own and get the hell out of this madhouse.
Right. I think that now, so the mother feels that she's entitled to have and own all the original copies of the social security card, the driver's license, the what do you call it, the
So
birth
ridiculous.
certificate,
Mm-hmm.
her passport. Now, again, now, if my kids asked us to hold on to their stuff,
Mm-hmm.
we'd hold on to it for them. But it's theirs. It belongs to them. Now, the birth certificate, I will argue with only because, the birth certificate, yes, it's yours, but, like that's what I got when I came here. But I would go with them to get a new one and order the new one and have another one.
But
You
that
know what I'm saying?
certificate is made specifically for the human being that was birthed.
I agree.
That
And
is
you will
how
get
they
it
go
eventually.
through life.
You'll
Like
get it
it's,
eventually, though. You'll
yeah,
get it eventually.
they
Look,
they need
I
it
didn't get
for
mine till later on.
jobs and
Yeah.
passports and just so many things that you need your birth certificate for.
So again, my reasoning for that is because you can get another, even though it's not the original, you can get an original
A
from
certified
the
copy
yes, you
of
can
the
get a certified
original.
copy of it.
Yes, I
And
understand that.
with somebody like here, I'm 50. If my mother was still alive right now, my father is, thankfully, knock on wood, but if my mother was still alive and she still had my birth certificate, my original birth certificate, like honestly, I don't need it. I don't look at it. I don't need to, you know what I'm saying? But as long as I have a certified copy of it, I'd rather have that than my 50-year-old piece of paper that I want to keep nice in a book somewhere. Let you hold on to it, and then I'll take it when it's time to take it. That's my outlook
If
on that
that's
one.
how you want to do it, that's fine. But if the person that
They all have
is
theirs, by the way. They all have theirs. I gave them they
Yeah,
wanted it,
I'm just
and
saying
we
though,
gave it.
if like this daughter is like, I want my birth certificate, then
Yeah,
she should have her birth certificate. Like that is her certificate
yeah,
of birth from when she was born. It has
agreed.
nothing to do with the mom. I have my original birth certificate. It is downstairs in my safe right now. I
Yeah.
have.
The birth certificate, though, again, I don't find the birth certificate thing to be an issue. The
Hmm.
social security card is an issue.
It's a pain in the
You
ass.
need you need the social security card. You need to have I mean, again, it's a similar situation to the but more so like social security card is you need that because you
Yeah,
need
and
to
if you
show up
don't
for
have it,
things.
it's a pain in
It
the
is a pain
ass.
in the
Getting a
ass.
new one is a pain in the ass.
Agreed. Meanwhile, the passport, she bought it on her own. That was
Uh-huh.
her own. She got, then there's no reason for the mother to have the passport.
Nope, absolutely fucking not.
You know,
Why
so
would she even need the passport? If her
well,
daughter
that's the
wants to go
question.
fucking travel to Paris for Christmas, she's gonna need a passport.
Right, right. Why do you feel the need to
Because she
have
wants to
all this
control.
stuff? She
That's
wants to
what it
control.
is.
She
Yeah,
wants to control.
she
I
just wants to
knew
control.
my ex, like my first real girlfriend. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? What do you call it? Her mother used to have such control over her, and
Ugh.
and that was the exact type of situation where she would have to have, her hooks into every single little possible being. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's I would never want to have anything to do with that. That's just creepy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, what does she do? What does she need that for? Are you gonna try to go and get credit cards with it? Like, are you gonna try to
See?
get a loan with it? Like, what do you do? What do you need
Why
it
do you
for?
need all those original documents? That feels shady.
Yeah,
Like,
very shady.
what are you trying to open a line of credit in your
Hmm.
daughter's name? Like, what the fuck are you doing? It feels shady.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gents, let us know what you think about that. Do you feel that the parents have the right to all these materials, or
Mm-hmm.
do you feel that they don't have a right? Let us know. Hit us up on all the social media and so forth, and we want to hear from you. You had a really interesting
I
one
had a
to
really
chat
gross
about.
one, I think is what you meant to say. I was
Yes.
scrolling through social media and I came across a post and I don't even remember who it was by. Oh, you know what? I have it up here. Judgy's
Judge's pod.
Pod.
Yeah.
So I was scrolling. I came across this thing on Judgy's Pod on Instagram. And it was about a guy that would take his wife's used tampons. Guys, I am so sorry for even making you hear this.
Ugh,
He would
like, it's so
put
gross.
them in his dehydrator. Like what he would like dehydrate fruit or meat or whatever.
No, no.
He would put the tampons in his dehydrator and
Ugh.
keep them. And then the wife caught him when she wanted like a sip of his coffee or something. He put the tampons in his beverage in the morning and would drink his like coffee or tea or whatever the fuck he was drinking with her tampon in it.
That's so gross.
It's so gross.
That's so gross. Like, listen, I love my wife, love my daughter, love you, love all my other daughter, love all the ladies. You're all fantastic. Um, Periods don't smell very nice. It is unfortunate that the women have to deal with that to begin with. It is like, it is something to, it's life. So it's there. I feel completely awful that you ladies have to deal with this,
It's
for,
awful. It is the
once every month.
worst. Mm-hmm.
And as much as I love y'all, um, I don't want to share any of that flavor in my
No.
in all, especially not in my, drink.
Well, we are the Dirty Little Secrets Club here. And so,
That's
in
freaking
Dirty
dirty.
Little Secrets Club fashion, I did have to do a little investigative reporting.
Oh.
I looked it up. This is a kink. It is another kink that we haven't really come across. Men are saving their women's tampons. He is not the only guy. Now, not all of
How
them
did
are
we not hear
putting them
this
in
until now?
beverages. I don't know, but it is a thing. It's a kink. It's like there are people out there that do this. There are men out there. He is not the only one that save their women's tampons.
That's just I I don't know, Day. I got nothing. I got
It's a
nothing.
kink that
I got
can't
nothing.
get behind. Quite honestly, if I walked up on my husband and he had either a used tampon in his jacket or one floating in his drink or whatever,
That's so gross.
I think I'm probably filing for divorce. Like I would not. I'm like, what? Your brain is broken. I feel like your brain is broken at that point. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah, beyond broken. Who the hell?
I am not the girl for you if that's what you're doing.
No, and if you expect me to do anything with it, I am not the guy for you. You know, like no.
Oh God, if there's
like,
guys
look,
that are out there doing it, there's probably girls that are supporting it too.
Oh God, yeah, like yeah.
Oh boy.
Blah. Listen, again, I again, I have no problem being intimate around, with that. That doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. But drinking the blood, like I draw the line.
No.
I draw the line.
No.
Yeah. Let's not do
period foam on top of my coffee.
Oh God, I'm gonna uke. That's not. Oh, don't ever say that. Don't ever say that again. Oh wait, where are you on the screen now? I can't. I am ill, freaking ill.
My apologies. I have taken it too far.
It's okay, Day. It's okay. You deserve a good zing. I took the zing for you.
Oh,
all right.
Man.
Anyway, guys, what do you call it? That's about all the time we have for this week's edition of the Dirty Little Secrets Club. What do you call it? Hopefully, you will continue to rate, review, subscribe. Hit us up on all the social media. And Danny, you want to tell them again the one rule of the Dirty Little Secrets Club?
I would love to, guys. The first rule of the Dirty Little Secrets Club is to tell everyone about the Dirty Little Secrets Club.
Greatly appreciated, guys. Again, thank you so much. Also, just a quick one, Amazon Prime, Seymour the Unfortunate Vampire, finally released, so you can catch me on there, and I will hopefully get some good feedback from you guys. Anyway, That's about all the time we got. We'll see you guys next week. Mwah.
You think we want something from you, you got another thing coming.